All right, so I just got back from seeing Wonka, the latest film by Warner Brothers, starring Timothée Chalamet. It is a prequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, my favorite movie of all time. If you can't tell by just knowing me. And yes, I did go to the movies dressed like this. I did watch the movie dressed like this. And I know there's been a lot going on in the development of this film. This has been in the works since 2016. We have gone through literally 6 seasons of The Crown to get this movie. There was a lot of different kinks in production. It was supposed to come out on St. Patrick's Day and got delayed. There was a lot of, bumps in casting. I think, Ryan Gosling was going to be considered as Wonka for one point. Donald Glover was in the running. I think they wanted Ezra Miller, which I'm kind of glad didn't happen. But now here we are. The film is finally out everywhere. And does it live up to the hype? Does it live up to the expectations? Well, I think so. I think Paul King and Timothée Chalamet and David Heyman did a phenomenal job here. Timothée Chalamet, though he's not exactly on point to what Gene Wilder was, which, he shouldn't be because it is a prequel. He is, it is about Wonka starting out. He's not that guy yet. I think what he brings to the character works very well for this interpretation of Wonka. There is a couple of plot choices that they did with his Willy that I don't really agree with. There's one specific character choice that they made that I think just doesn't work for me. But I will say he does bring a phenomenal performance here. And that goes for everybody. I think the young actress who plays Noodle does a phenomenal job. I think the 3 villains are very hilarious. There's a lot of things in this movie that probably shouldn't work, that should probably look silly or look hokey or just look over the top. And it doesn't. It actually works very well with the world building that they have, with the structure that they have created in this world. Keegan-Michael Key is quite hilarious as the police chief. He brings this sort of, street style, almost like Brooklyn style to the character that I didn't really expect and kind of enjoyed. Rowan Atkinson is phenomenal as the priest archbishop, or what he's supposed to. He's a priest. He's a priest. I think that the supporting cast, specifically the Washers crew, I think all of them are phenomenal to watch. And Olivia Colman is hilarious here. I think she's at her best when she's playing crazy. The musical numbers are also phenomenally well choreographed, beautifully acted and sung. This very much feels like a Broadway musical. And I could see this being put on Broadway. There are a lot of references to the original, specifically, obviously, Hugh Grant being an Oompa Loompa, who, even though he's not in the movie as much as I thought he was going to be, I thought he was going to have a real big presence, which made me nervous because if you know the story of Wonka in the original, that doesn't really line up exactly with that wouldn't have lined up exactly with what happens in the original film, or even in the original book. But I think they handled it very well, and I think Hugh Grant does a brilliant job with his performance. And as for the other references to the original, there were so many, and they were done they weren't cheaply done. They were done very respectfully and very tastefully, that it almost left me very emotional. And I think that's the key thing here. This is a brilliant family film. You can take your 3-year-old to it. You can take your 17-year-old to it. I think everybody's going to like this movie. And if you're a fan of the original like me, oh my God, you are going to be over the moon here. Is it as good as the Is it as good as the Gene Wilder version? Not quite. It's not as good as the original movie. It's pantheons better than the Johnny Depp remake. And I want to emphasize this to a lot of people think it's a reboot. It's not. It's a prequel. It's a prequel. I want to make that perfectly clear. And it's a very well-made prequel. And anytime they play any cues from the original, I got excited. And there was one particular moment that left me very, very emotional, which doesn't happen a lot for me at movies. But with this, it left me with a feeling that I know I'm rambling a lot. This is my first time seeing the movie. I'm going to see it again tomorrow and probably give some more thoughts on it. But I will say this is probably this met my expectations. Is it a perfect movie? No, but I do think it's a movie that Mel Stewart and Gene Wilder could be very proud of. And I think everyone gave it their all. It's a perfect film. It's a great musical. And that's the thing. It's very much a musical in the best way. And if you're a musical theater nut, which I know a couple friends are, and they see this movie, they're going to have a blast with it as well. So I don't normally give ratings, at least not with this stuff. But if I were to say, I would give it 4.5 stars. That's what I say. 4.5 stars out of 5. And yeah, this was a fun film. So adieu, parting such sweet sorrow. This was truly full of pure imagination.